Oh, wow. That's a big floor to have here. Just kidding. Thank you so much for that introduction, Joseph. And I'm super excited to be here with you guys today. Like you said before, I am a senior account manager at Reddit, specifically focusing on sales insights for our private sector. So that could be anything from the DODs of the world, from nonprofits, and having them better understand one, who is their audience and how does their audience show up in on Reddit in the world? How is their brand being perceived? And taking these insights and turning them into marketing campaigns, creative strategies. In some instances, with a lot more of my independent work, it could turn into product development, an opportunity to help people better understand how to build partnerships with organizations and enterprises as a founder-led business. And really, taking my experience, because before I got into tech, and I've been in tech now almost 10 years, but before that I was agency. So I worked at Publicis, a lot of small independent agencies, website development, UX. So I really came into the industry with a very well-rounded experience. I had been client facing, I had been a data analyst in the back end, doing Tableau reports all day and building. I've been the one in the front having to sell ad space. So I kind of wanted to take all of my experiences and really lend themselves to my research skills. So in kicking this conversation off, because this is going to be collaborative, I know I said I didn't have any slides, Joseph, and I kind of don't, but we may look at an image or two, but I want this to be conversational because conversations are what's driving brand visibility. And I think in a world in which people are having conversations about, I don't know how other researchers in the room feel, please drop it in the chat. I've never felt threatened by AI in terms of the role that we play at corporations. AI cannot replicate what we do. Even when it's able to identify, it's not able to contextualize because it doesn't have to experience things outside of the data in which it's fed. We do. So with that type of narrative out there about the impact of AI, the narrative around creators and the role that they play in these types of ecosystems, which is something we're definitely going to touch on this call. Spoiler alert, creators are not going to move the needle the way people think they will. And I think a lot of us on the call have a very similar mindset. But one of the things I want to kick this conversation off, come off of mute, ask questions. This is collaborative. I know you guys have done these a lot of different ways. I will share my screen just to give a little bit more data to explain some of my positionings and things like that. But let's look at this as like a high school debate. If you're on my side, let me know how you support. If you see that there is a hole in my thinking, educate me. The one thing I love about being a researcher and I love about our field is that we're always constantly learning from each other. We're learning about our industries. We're learning about, how people are feeling about us and about our products. And specifically, I want to focus on our first kind of, I want to focus on like a kickoff kind of question to kind of set us all up here today. So based on all of your experiences, I know some of you guys are independent, some of you guys are doing your own thing, some of you guys work for enterprises, but what is your perspective? Who or what do you think primarily shapes what becomes true about a brand? And I want us to really contextualize truth here as the perception of the truth. It may not be actualized, it may have holes in it, but the truth in which our masses understand it. Do you think it's the brand itself? Do you think it's customers and communities? Do you think it's media and influencers? Or do you think it's algorithms and AI platforms that determine what gets surfaced and how that conversation looks? We'll love for some people to come off mute and give some of your perspectives. And if not, I'll definitely kick off with what I believe. Oh, okay, Laura. Laura, you said it's public. It's the public. Give me a little bit more color into what you're considering public. And I'm going to grab my charger real quick, please. Users, like your audience, the actual customers that use, potential users, so the audience in general. Okay. Any other perspectives? Any other thoughts?
Hey, I'll jump in. It's Ashley.
Yeah. Hi, Ashley.
I'll build off of what Laura said. I think it's a good mix, though. I think that Media can have an influence, the brand can have an influence, all of these things can play a role. But if the customers don't have that same experience with the brand, that's where it falls apart. So you can tell a story, you can drive the narrative, but it is that experience with the brand that sets the tone, and you cannot change it, change their minds with a lot of spend. Like, that's where you have to then rebuild trust in the brand if you do not meet what is expected. And so I think there's a willingness to trust brands and to hear that story, but until they have that experience, that's the moment of truth. And I think it all goes back to like P&G's first moment of truth is the reality of it all.
I think the AIs and the algorithms have a part to play when people don't know, just like marketing has a part to play when people don't know and they're trying to figure things out. But then the brand at some point becomes almost living, and all of these other things combine. And excuse my very forefront language, a fuck up by the brand can be...
Yes, ma'am. Say it from the bar from the front to the back.
Yeah, it cannot be easily overcome with marketing or AI or anything, because once people feel that emotion of being betrayed by something, the AI has to really fight to overcome that.
Oh, I love that. And I love that you said fight to overcome that. And one of the things I'm noticing, and I think this is a great segue to how they're fighting. And that's how we've ended up at this creator standpoint. They feel like the best way to fight right now is to use them as a very big battering ram tool. Lauren, please, I would love your perspective.
Yeah, I think in some ways it feels like it depends on the type of brand. So if we're more in a brand that's more inspiration, like think fashion or beauty or gift or luxury goods, like I think the brand can serve as a different role. But I think if it's a more complicated and or functional, or like PCs, laptops, car, automobiles and shopping, or, a category, like for example, having a pool and I needed to get a sump pump and I know nothing about, like, I literally, like, the way I needed to do research and rely actually on AI, that was my first dabble into sort of AI shopping. I think that's where the algorithms start to play a much greater role when it's really about understanding a more complex category. So I think in some ways, not wanting it to sound like a cop-out, but I think it really depends on the type of brand and where you sit in consumer understanding and the role that you're playing.
I think that's a really great caveat. And one of the conversations that we have a lot about in those cross-functional things, almost like the difference between like a B2C and a B2B marketing approach. And one thing that makes it consistent across all of these conversations is something Dean mentioned in the chat, that the truth is personal. In that personal piece of it, while you may have solved that issue with the client, they may go on a Reddit, they may go on a Twitter, they may go on a LinkedIn, and they're going to voice their truths. And the only way that you combat truth, a personal truth, is with the reality of truth. And that reality of truth, that I believe comes from the brand. Unfortunately, brands are trying to use the creator and influencer to be able to serve as that truth speakerphone. The reason that's not going to be able to scale or work moving forward is, one, video is not a priority for LLMs. Video is not a priority for people on certain platforms. Like Reddit is text. That is the majority of what you see on the platform. Video is not changing minds. Video is not what makes Reddit one of the number one social media platforms people come to make purchase decisions. It's not video, it's text. And when you're working with creators and you're working with video, it is a flash in the pan. When I start Googling, or when I go on Reddit Answers, or when I go on Claude and I type, what is the best running sneaker for a 5'1", curly haired girl just getting back into running with flat feet? Where it doesn't automatically bring up, thank you, Laura. It doesn't automatically bring up the YouTubes. YouTube isn't going to be the first citation that comes up when I Google these things. YouTube is something you kind of want to lean into once I've already purchased, or when I'm shortlisting. I don't know what I really want to get, but I have an idea. That's something very common with hair products. I am curious about Secret. So I'm going to maybe go on a YouTube to see the results of it. But also, to what you had mentioned before, it's kind of the product that I'm using. But if I am trying to find my best running shoe, a video isn't going to help me. A video isn't going to change my mind. I don't want to see a video of you running. I need you to explain to me and talk me through, what does it feel like? You know, what does it have? What have you ran? What have you done with it? That conversational piece where I'm able to hear and articulate and respond. Oh, can you guys hear me?
1 second.
When I'm able to articulate and respond. So with a video like a YouTube, for example, I can't talk to the creator. If the creator isn't in the comments at that moment in time when my question is front of mind, then that's not going to get answered. Versus on a Reddit or a Twitter, when I ask the question, that creator is going to probably get a direct notice. It's starting dialogue. Someone else may come in and answer, and people are coming in. And now I'm not reliant on a single point of truth. My point of truth is spread out amongst multipliers and multiple people coming in and having these conversations with me. So I really want to focus more on the idea of creators coming in. It's a great, add-on and addition, but it's not coming up in the brand visibility piece of it. When I go into Claude, for example, and I type in the best running shoe, which we may do that in a second and as a little kind of breakout room challenge. I would love for everybody to go in an LLM and see where those citations coming up. So what I would love to do is I would like for in the breakout rooms, everyone open up your search, AI search of choice, whether that be Claude, ChatGPT, whatever you guys kind of lean into, and just type in, what is the best cookware? What is the best X, Y, and Z?